A Nigerian family who recently arrived in the UK with on the carers visa are about to be deported back to Nigeria, and their children have been removed. Too many Nigerian families, especially the recent arrivals, are having their children taken into care by the different local authorities in the UK. This family went, the mother and father work in health and healthcare. They left their children who are under the age of 10 at home while both parents were at work. One of the children called the police in the night and dropped the phone later. The police reported hearing the child, being someone telling the child, drop the phone, and they rushed, they traced the call to the house. They knock on this door. The children refused to open. This family that we're talking about today live in Manchester. The police were concerned about the welfare of the children, and as a result, they had to force the door open. They met two young children in the home, and the mom and dad were not at home. Police stayed there for up to 6 hours till the early hours of the morning before uh, mom came back. And when mom came back, she told the police that she gave police different excuses that she went to see friends and she went to different places. This the police that they didn't believe the mom's narrative, obviously, and they searched mom. They later found some incriminating evidence in mom's hand. This is a family that recently arrived in the UK, less than 1 year in the UK. They have been reported to the health authority and therefore suspended from working. And this is going to result in their visa being cancelled and the family will be sent back to Nigeria. We're hearing too many reports of Nigerian families, African families, and other immigrants as well, whose children are being removed because parents are leaving their children at home, going to work. I can understand the economic pressure of moving to a new country and having to start from the scratch, but that is not an excuse because when you move to a new country, you have to be familiar with the laws. You might get away with such behaviors in your home country, but in the UK, I'm afraid the law says that children cannot be left unsupervised. If you leave a child or children unsupervised and the children sustain injury, you could be charged for medical negligence and as well as having the children removed. This is a serious problem amongst the immigrant community. Like I said before, many children are having to have their many parents are having to have their children removed. So what I would say is that if you know anyone who is living in the UK, who recently arrived in the UK, or anyone who have children who you suspect is doing what I've just reported, please kindly share this video with them. Information is power. I don't think this family would have done that thing if they watch a video like this. For those of you who do not know me very well, my full-time job is a social worker. If you do not know what social workers do in the UK, social workers are responsible for safeguarding vulnerable people. By safeguarding, I mean keeping children safe, ensuring that their needs are being met. So I come across this issue a lot, and I'm having a lot of people from the immigrant community reaching out to me for advice on these same issues. When you move to a new country, you have to familiarize yourself with the law. If you have children, you leave your children at home unsupervised in the UK, that is classed as neglect. You cannot get away with that in the UK. It's a serious offense which could result in having your children removed from your care. Like I said before, the government in this country has a statutory duty to keep children safe and ensure that children's needs are met. If you do not want your children removed from you do not want your visa to be cancelled, you must not leave them unsupervised. If you're someone who work in healthcare, you will not only have your visa cancelled, you may face criminal prosecution if those children were left unattended and therefore sustain injury while no one was in a home. So this is a serious problem that is affecting the immigrant community. A lot of children, as I have said repeatedly, are being removed from your care. So what can you do? What are the things that you cannot do in this country if you have children? Number one, when you have children, you have to ensure that your children attend school, and not just attend school. When they go to school, they are well presented, and the way you interact with the school authority, it's also important. And also, when you are going to school, you have to go there in a way that you're well presented as well, because they are assessing not just your children, they are assessing you as a parent as well, to see when you come to school, do you look tired? Do you look drunk? Do you look like you've misused substance? These things it will form the opinion that they will have about your children. That is why it's very, very important that you, as a parent, you set a good example when you are interacting with professionals as well. You have to be mindful of the tone of your voice. A lot of us back home, the way we talk is quite different from the way you talk in the society like this. When you're talking to somebody, especially somebody that is not from your background, you have to be mindful of the tone of your voice, and also be mindful of your body language. Another thing that you cannot do is to make sure that your child health needs is not being neglected. By that, I mean that if your child is not well or your child needs health and attention, you have to ensure that the child's health needs is met. If the child's health needs is not being met, that is classed as neglect as well. Another thing that you must not do is to chastise a child that will result in a child having bruises in their hands. We've done some work with different organizations around this. A lot of immigrants, this is one of the reasons a lot of immigrants are having their children removed from their care. In Africa or in Asia, when you chastise your child, you're not committing anything. But in this society, if you try that and you leave bruises in the child's body, you have gotten yourself into serious trouble, which would result in that child being removed from your care by the local authority, because like I said before, local authorities have statutory duties to safeguard children. If you're seeing my face for the first time, my name is Francis. I do content about migration, talking about different opportunity in life in the UK and different in the Western world. The topic that we're talking about today is very, very close to my heart, because like I said before, this Nigerian family are on the way back to Nigeria. They spent a lot of money, a lot of investment, a lot of sacrifices have been made to come to the UK, and both parents, they silly left their children unattended. There is no excuse for both parents to go to work, no matter the economic pressure they are facing, to go to work and leave two children at home unattended overnight. That is not acceptable at all. If you know anyone who you suspect may be doing what I'm saying now, tell them that this is not going to happen. Tell them that they should stop what they are doing. Share this video with them, because this is a problem in our community that we're having today, whereby a lot of children are having their children removed and taken into the care of the local authority, and you cannot get away with that. Like I said before, you may not only have your children removed, you may end up in jail if the child sustained injury whilst he or she was left unattended. So that is the topic that we're talking about today, the alarming rate at which immigrant children are being removed by local authorities and put into care because their parents are neglecting the children. A lot of our people from our community are making this mistake. You cannot continue. You cannot do this. This Nigerian family will be deported back to the UK, and their parents, they've already been reported to the health agency if they return back to Nigeria, mom is working as a healthcare professional, that information may be shared with the health authority in Nigeria. You may have a situation where if mom returns back to Nigeria, she may not be able to work as a nurse. This mom is a nurse. She may not be able to work as a nurse because they will ask for reference. They may ask for reference in Nigeria from the UK employer, which they will share that information with them. So what I'm saying to you today is that there is no excuse as a parent for you to leave your child or your children unattended to. And because you're going to work and because you're going to find money, I understand the pressure, don't get me wrong, but you are going to dig yourself into a deep hole. You end up not having that money. You end up not having peace of mind, and everything you have made sacrifice for to achieve, everything you will lose them overnight because of silly mistakes. So if you know anyone who is in the UK who has children and you suspect that he or she is leaving their children unattended to, going to work at night, make sure you tell them that this is not on. A Nigerian family, as I said before, is about to be deported back to Nigeria because they left their children who are under the age of 10 unattended. Mom went to work at night. Dad went to work at night. The police attended to the home because the children called the police at night. And between 11 o'clock till 7 o'clock, there was no adult in the home. And when mom came, police had to force the door open. And when mom came, they find out that these two children, they were left at home overnight. But mom lied initially to the police. She was later found to be lying to the police, and she had something in her possession from work that she's not supposed to have. That is another professional misconduct. You know, this family, as I'm speaking to you now, they live in Manchester. They have been reported to the local authority designated officer, which is the LADO. They have been, the Nursing Regulatory Council has been informed of this crime. You know, this is a big problem. So if you know any Nigerian or any African or any immigrant family living in the UK or living in the Western world, because it's the same whether you live in the UK, Canada, Australia, any English country, you cannot leave children, not any of the Western society, whether you live in Germany, it's the same. You cannot leave children at home unattended to by an adult and you say you go to work. If you're caught, you will not get that money. You will be deported if you don't have permanent residence or you do not have citizenship. You will be deported, and you will, everything that you ever worked for, you're going to throw them away. My advice for you this afternoon is, if you know any immigrant who recently arrived in the UK, share this video with them. Kindly plead with them not to leave their children unattended to, because like I said before, alarming rates of immigrant children are being removed by the government because parents are leaving their children unattended to, going to look for money, and they end up not getting the money. They end up throwing away everything that they've ever worked for because of greed. If you're seeing value for this content or you like content like this, please consider sharing this video with your family and friends. Leave your comment in the comment section. I will always respond. Our service is free. We want to help as many people as possible to legally migrate. Not just migration, any information that we believe will benefit our community, we will share it with you. If you have any friends, family members in the UK who have young children, please plead with them, share this video with them, and tell them to not make the mistake of leaving their children unattended to and go to work. It doesn't, even if it's not in the UK, any Western world, the government has a duty to keep children safe. If you make that mistake in Germany, you will still face the same crime. If you make the same mistake, even in the United States, it's the same consequence. Do not make that mistake of leaving children unattended to. This Nigerian family that has lived in the UK for less than a year, they're about to be deported back to Nigeria. And the sad reality is that the children may not be given to the parents if they are deported, because the children will not be deported. The children are currently in the care of the local authority. Can you imagine coming to the UK with your 4 children, or you come to the UK with your family, and it's the adults who are now being sent back and the children have now been given to other family? Imagine the pain. You don't have money, you lost everything, you lost your children, and the adults are being deported. Because what that means is that when you neglect a child, you've already demonstrated to the government that you are not a responsible parent, and there is no way children can be removed from your care in that case and reunited back to you if you are being deported back to your home country. So this is something very, very serious. If you know any family that live in the UK, plead with them. Do not leave your children unattended to. You might be doing it and getting away with it. One day, children will go to school and tell their teacher, oh, last night, my mom and dad went to work, I was home. They will one day reveal what is going on. And once they reveal it to the teacher, all the teacher needs to do is to call social services straight away. Investigation has started. Do not make that mistake. Share this video with your family and friends. There is no substitute to information. Information is the key. And thank you so much for continuing to support us. Make sure you share this video with your family and friends. Give this video a like. I will see you soon.